I live in a 1-bedroom flat in London. I wake up, I barely know my neighbors, which is awful to say, but I don't even know who my neighbors are. Rather than in Gabon, I was waking up, I go down, in the dinner table, there's everyone around. Yeah. So I have a problem, you speak with someone. And that's the real power of healing.
Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you, Irina, for inviting me.
Yes, I am very excited to have this conversation with you. You've been very integrated in the psychedelic world here in UK. You work closely with Professor Nat, who is absolutely legendary. Yes, and you're also connected to some wellness brands as well. You work directly with Psychedelic Society, and you shared with me that you recently had your personal experience and initiation into Iboga and the tradition of Bwiti.
Bwiti.
Yes.
Oui. Let's talk in French as well.
Yes, yes. So would you please share more on how your involvement with psychedelics, and I'm sure it is always a personal journey, not only professional, but what brought you to Iboga initiation?
Yeah. So I've always been interested in the so-called altered states of consciousness. That obviously they are driven from psychedelic substances, but from non-psychedelic substances as well. It's been a long journey, but removing all the background and just move directly to Iboga. I've heard about that a few years ago, probably 3-4 years ago, from a friend. It was still not as mainstream as it is now, because now people start to talk about ibogaine. Back 3-4 years ago, it was almost non-existent. And I remember this friend of mine told me Iboga is the ego death, and that you are high for 48 hours. Obviously, very much generalized as a concept. And I was thinking, why would someone want to be high for 48 hours? That's mental. And moving forward, 2 years after, I was actually in Portugal doing it's called Iboga retreat. It's called total rearrangement almost. But there's no such thing as an Iboga retreat because Iboga and Bwiti comes in hand. So the Iboga retreat that I did with this incredible man called Aluba, it's a weekend. It simulates a little bit the initiation because you do a death ceremony on the Friday and a rebirthing ceremony on the Saturday, and then Sunday you have time to integrate. When I did that, it literally changed my life. I can clearly define Carlotta pre-Iboga and Carlotta post-Iboga, and I've tried many plants, ayahuasca, I did a Santo Daime ceremony as well, peyote, but none of them has ever brought so many changes as Iboga has done for me. Obviously, everyone is different. Someone is very well connected to the South American tradition. For me, it's now that I know Iboga, it's always been Iboga. I feel very connected to Africa as well. Who knows what I was in the previous life, probably somewhere in Africa. And from that moment that what it gave me was a very clear sense of death. And when I say death, obviously, we know that we are going to die. It's probably the only sure thing in the world, right? That we have to die. But it's a concept that is very scary for lots of people because we see death as, okay, it's going to come, but we'll worry about death after.
Yes.
And what the first Iboga retreat gave to me was a clear understanding that, okay, I have to die. Which again seems a very basic concept, but we never put this in practice. And when I came back from the retreat, I'm like, yes, that's going to happen. So let's make some changes in my life that allow me to not being afraid of dying. And by not being afraid of dying, I can actually take more risks, more challenges, because I'm going to die, you know? Yeah. So I'm not saying who cares, because again, that's general, but I'm here to do whatever I want. And back in time, 2 years ago, I was already freelancer. I left my job actually after a Kambo ceremony. That was really triggering for me. Like, I remember I did this ceremony on Sunday and then boom, on Monday, I gave my notice.
Wow.
So I was already going into the freedom path, being freelancer. So obviously I can manage my days how I want. I still have clients. So when you mentioned the wellness client, I got in touch with Professor Nat via Sentia, which is a GABA drink that he created. So that allowed me as well to obviously dig deeper within my psychedelic contacts and psychedelic connections. And after I did Iboga, I obviously continue my work. My background is PR and events, both for myself and the Psychedelic Society. But it just allowed me to reframe the direction I was taking as well. So I start to focus more on the brands that I really care about, brands that somehow are connected to psychedelics. And then for a year, I didn't touch anything. It was a big integration process. And in my brain, maybe I was a little bit naive because I knew Iboga would be strong, but I had no clue that it would break me so much. And I'm saying break me, but before the initiation really broke me. But the retreat itself was very powerful.
Yes.
So I had 1 year where I was integrating and just taking it easy, seeing what I could change in my life, but really small changes as well. It's not like something that you come back and you are like, boom, I'm gonna change my entire life. At least from my own experience, everyone is different, as we know. But I started to see small things in a different way. And then earlier this year, in February, my coach, my Iboga guy, Daluba, we have always been in touch anyway. And he was, I'm taking a group to Gabon. Do you want to come? And for my work, I'm always traveling. So I'm like, it's February. The retreat, the initiation is in August. I have no idea what's going to happen by August, so I'll let you know closer. Right. And I remember I put the phone down, and after a second, I had like this feeling.
I'm going.
Call him back. I'm like, okay, Aluba, I have no idea where I'm going to come from, but book me in. I'm going to be there. And it's very interesting because Iboga, as many other plants, has an agenda for you. At least this is what I think. And by the time that I said yes, it started the process almost that the plant already knew that I was coming, and things started to shift in my life. With Aluba, I did some pre-integration calls, just to set the intention is very important for obviously all the psychedelic experiences, but with Iboga in particular, because you might end up at a point that your body is basically in a coma. So you need to really understand and really be clear on why you are there. I know that people has gone there quite naively as well, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's a powerful experience and the initiation is just once in a lifetime. I know some people have done different initiations, different Bwiti tradition, Misoko, Fang, but the initiation itself, it's once in a lifetime. I don't think I'm going to go again another initiation. It's very powerful. Wow. So we set up the intention and he told me, find the object that could, that you could focus on if you feel a little bit lost. And here we have our lovely shell that I found. It was probably around May time in a seaside town in UK. And I'm like, okay, that's my object. And I'm not gonna say all the background because otherwise we're gonna stay here the whole day. But what happened is that I focused on that. And when I arrived in Gabon, I entered in my room and boom, there was actually, this is the one in Gabon. It's not the one that we found in UK. So I've asked if I could bring it back, and the Ganga said, yes, you can. So that's all admitted. And I arrived in the room and I saw this shell and I'm like, oof, okay. And I had that feeling that I am supposed to be here. For that reason, I think that what you need to be really perspective of with Iboga is that you know when is the time. And it's a concept that, would give gray hair to scientists, like, what does it mean you know when is the time? Yeah. But people that are familiar with plant medicine, they can relate very much to this concept. And there's lots of synchronicity that happen as well. There was one of the 3 guys I did the initiation with, his symbol was the butterfly. Yes. And he was very annoyed. He was, there are no butterflies, I can't find anything. And then I was scratching my face. I have a butterfly tattoo. And he looked at me, he was like, He just looked at me paralyzed, and I'm like,
Wow.
Mata, you okay? He was like, that's the butterfly. So you do create all these, you see all these synchronicities happening within the group. And these are signals that for me was like, okay, I have to be here. I'm not afraid of the medicine. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not saying high risk that you can die, but it's strong on the body. And when I arrived there, I was like, yes, I'm meant to be here. So that's how I entered and I arrived to know Iboga.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. It's so beautiful, all the synchronicities, and also you're referring to the inner intelligence that you have and how you had an opportunity to connect to it just with the intention, right? Going into the ceremony, quite powerful. And then the plant itself also has the intelligence that can navigate the whole experience.
Yeah.
So for the audience who've never heard about Iboga or never participated in the Iboga retreats, can you share a little more of what that initiation actually looked like? How long is the process?
Yeah.
You mentioned 48 hours being in a altered state. I actually heard that it's like 48 to 72 hours, right? Iboga and ibogaine are very interesting subjects right now in United States, specifically for its addiction interrupter
it's
mechanisms.
the most potent addiction interrupter in the world.
Yes. So if you can touch on that as well, if you have any knowledge or personal experience that affected, any addictive patterns perhaps within you, even if it's sugar or caffeine or, or screen time, anything that you also noticed that Iboga had an impact on you from this addictive pattern standpoint.
It's interesting that you touched on that because we need to differentiate different things. So the first experience I did with Iboga, the Iboga retreat, was in Portugal. There were Bwiti elements, so the Ganga was dressed in the Bwiti attire. They had music playing, but it was recorded. And it's still like the most annoying sound ever because it's this, they use several instruments, but one of the instruments is the mugongo, which is a harp with one string that you play with the mouth. And I really recommend everyone that is interested to just type Bwiti mugongo on YouTube. And it's a sound like bam, bam, bam. It's like it gets into your head.
Wow.
So obviously, when you do a Iboga retreat, not many people know how to play the mugongo because it's a very difficult instrument. So my experience was it was very powerful, but I haven't realized that it was still missing something that arrived with the initiation as the live music. Touching on addiction, I remember that I had no clue about the power it had with addiction when I did it 2 years ago, but I found that I'm not an addict, but obviously, I have some addiction to sugar or addiction. I'm based in UK, so I'm Italian, so I didn't have any addiction before. But since when I've been living in UK, junk food, some sugar. And when I came back, I didn't even realize that I was not having that. It was just a very subconscious process of, okay, I'm fine. I'm gonna, continue to eat whole food and really good food. But I realized it after. And then I started to read it about the addiction power that Iboga has. And I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I know that at the first retreat that I did, we were in 6 in Portugal. 4 people out of 6 were addicts. I think a couple of cocaine and heroin. And I'm still in touch with some of them. And 3 out of 4, they are still free.
Amazing.
It's not a magic pill. Because what Iboga gives you is that it gives you an overview of who you are. It creates some process in the brain, whereas your brain can become a tabula rasa, can become a white blackboard. So you can build up new habits and new behavior. For that reason, it works really well with addiction. But obviously, the effect of Iboga might fade away. So you need to keep doing the work. And we can touch after on integration, but that plays a massive role as well. So moving to the initiation, that's a complete different story. First of all, you are in Gabon. You are in the land where Iboga is from. And you can feel the energy when you land there. I was staying in a village called Ebando, which is a village in the capital, obviously, African capital, probably 2.5 million. I very much enjoyed it because the Ganga, I say shaman to simplify, but in Africa they are Ganga, he is this French flamboyant man that moved in Gabon in the 70s, so now he's 70 himself. He's Gabonese as well. But he's almost a bridge because he speaks English. He stayed in France until he was 20, so he's almost like a bridge between the Gabonese culture and the European one. And I really enjoyed that because it was already a shock to arrive in Gabon. And I wouldn't have felt comfortable to go straight to the forest, probably. Language is a barrier because they speak French or Fang. Fang is insane too. I've learned two things in Fang. Babalu, which is good night.
Okay.
And I love you is Manyau, Manyawa, something like that. So when you arrive in Gabon, there is this language barrier that you need to be able to deal with as well. So in this village, Tatayu speaks English. He's French, so he can communicate with all the guys in the village. He asks you to arrive a couple of days before the initiation starts, so you can land, understand where you are. Nice. It's very hot, so your body needs to, obviously you live in Saudi, so probably you are used about that, but coming from London for me was a shock to the system. And you have this couple of days to see the guys as well around, start to talk. I don't speak French, now I'm learning it because I'm going to be back, so I need a little bit of connection. But I'm Italian, so I can use my hands and make myself understand. But something that is very important for the initiation is that you have to trust the people in the village because you will arrive at a point that your body, it's a condition called ataxia, where your body, your muscle, you can't move. So obviously, it's, I don't know the words in English, but it's when your muscle are contract. So you are basically stuck, almost paralyzed, You can move a little bit, but you're very heavy. So at that point, you have seen me now, I'm 180 per 80 kilos. I'm not a small lady, but you need to trust the people that if you have to go to the toilet, someone will have to carry you. And if you don't trust the village, you're not going to be able to go through the experience. So trust plays a massive role in the whole initiation, which is something that maybe you still need for a retreat, but it's less harder during a retreat. The dose is completely different. No, I'm talking personally. At the retreat, I probably took 4 spoons across 2 nights, or 5 spoons, I don't remember. At the initiation, you start on Thursday, so most of the things are secret. What I can share is that you do rituals covering all the elements. So you have rituals with the fire, you have rituals in the river, mostly purification rituals. You receive baths, plant baths, almost 3 times per day. So all the initial part of the initiation, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, is to basically prepare your body and cleanse your body to then the big jump into the ancestral realm, really.
And when you say you took spoons, does that mean that the medicine is in which consistency?
So the spoons are powder. The Iboga is a tree root, 1.5 meters, 2 meters. Very nice tree with orange. I don't know if they're fruit, but orange something. Yes. And the Iboga is from the root. Yes. So I'm not sure how the process is. When I'm gonna go in January, I'm gonna see the process. Yes. But they extract the Iboga from the root. It's a very delicate process because the root produce Iboga when the tree is like 7-8 years old. Before they don't produce much. So you need to be careful to not basically destroy the tree. once you take Iboga out of the roots.
Otherwise, we're healing one thing and then we're destroying the other thing in nature.
Obviously, they have plenty of Iboga tree, but with deforestation and everything that is happening now, it's a very delicate tree to deal with. And they're having lots of problems at the moment because of the sustainability, because of the high demand after what's happening in Texas as well. However, we can cover this better now, but there is a tree that they found called Wakanga africana, and I think it's still in the equatorial Africa. And this tree produced something called, it's probably the wrong pronunciation, but voacagin, from whom you can extract ibogaine. So it's a more sustainable way to extract the same alkaloid, basically, without putting all the pressure in Gabon. So they are finding a solution. I'm positive. I try to stay positive about it. We know how it has ended up with psilocybin in Mexico. Yeah. So let's see what's going to happen. But going back to the initiation then, so the first 3 days are all cleansing rituals. You do lots of body cleanses as well via purging. It's very intense. And they strip you out of all your clothes and they put you into a loincloth almost. And you just basically surrender. That's the only way I can describe it. You need to surrender to the process. Most of the time I had no clue what was going on, because obviously it's Africa, so they have all these nature elements. And
at that moment you already start taking the medicine? So you've taken medicine across the whole time?
So you start with a couple of spoons and then they see how you are. So out of the group that I was with, we were 4 people. 3 of us, we already took Iboga before. One of the guy has never took Iboga. So for instance, he took Iboga in the forest because you obviously have to create a connection with the plant before. So you start in the forest on Thursday, then you do rituals in the forest, rituals in the temple. It's very beautiful because, so the temple has a vulva shape. The female, lots of people say that Iboga is not female, not male. We don't know, but I know that the female plays a big part in the ritual because the temple is vulva shaped and everyone, both male and female, they wear skirts during the rituals.
This is so interesting. Why do you think it's that?
I mean, the female has always been the Nima, the healer of the village.
Healer, the nurture.
The nurture, the mother, the giver. I mean, from the vulva we create life. Yeah. So I bet it plays a big role there. Obviously, there's the main Ganga, which is still very important there. But I think we have lost the role that us as female occupied in the past. And the Bwiti is a tradition that is keeping that very much alive because, again, the temple is not phallic. The temple is vulva shape. Yeah. And when I was seeing this guy wearing skirts, I'm like, what are you doing, guys? I was like, we represent the females as well. That's the real power. So it's really interesting. And what I'm going to try to do when I'm back now in January is I know that there are only female cults or only female tribes that work with Iboga and other plants specifically to heal female wounds. And obviously, I don't know if I'm going to be able to arrive there because you have to actually be in Gabon and see if they can give you access as well. Because obviously, I'm a white woman coming from Europe, just very curious to know more. But they need to decide if I'm worth to have this knowledge as well. So we'll see what's going to happen. But it's still a massive journey. I don't think I'm going to be able to do everything in January. I'm going to be back and forth and build up a relationship with Gabon. Male still plays a big role, but it's all around the female. There's lots and lots around the female. In the ceremony as well, obviously you have female and males are separated. They are together in the temple. I was the only female of the 3, so they were putting me in another side. Obviously the bath, I was naked, so I was doing it without the males. So there are some rituals that are just for the females and just for the males. Are
there females on a team to support your rituals?
Oh yeah, they have to. Yes. Yeah. We had, obviously there were 3 males, so there were more males. Yeah. But I had 3 females. So my Bwiti mama, which obviously then the females become your Bwiti sister, your Bwiti mama. But they literally helped me do Everything from putting the loincloth, because when you start to take Iboga as well, bearing in mind it's very hard on the sleep. You basically don't sleep.
I've heard that
So
for how long? For 48 hours?
Long.
72 hours.
Long.
Yeah.
It's obviously we try to quantify this, but everyone has a different experience. I remember I did initiation on the Saturday night, which is the whole night. On the Sunday, I was brain dead. Like I was trying to talk and I'm like, okay, guys, just don't talk with me today. It's not my day, just leave me in peace. One of the guys who is Iboga facilitator, so he's very comfortable with the medicine, he was on the phone the day after. So it really depends on how you interact. As with everything, we are bespoke, so it really depends how we interact with the medicine itself.
Right.
But ideally, yeah, people are quite tired after this because it's a big process as well. You see lots of things that you are not comfortable with. I remember one of the ceremony was a purging ceremony, because something to say with Iboga is that you have to purge. Because with the initiation you take such a high amount that it cannot stay in the system. You have to purge it out. So they gave you this mix.
And I believe you mentioned that if you don't purge it out, it can be toxic to you. So they actually force you? Would you? I
mean, there's no force because it's coming out.
It's coming out,
you don't
okay.
have to force much. But it has to go out of the system. If it's a low dose, when I talk about low dose, I'm not sure in grams, I'm talking spoons. I think in a spoon there is 3-4 grams.
The clinical setting, I think they're giving like little supplement pills.
Yeah,
and you're like taking spoons, no?
As there's no tomorrow, right? But I know that, for instance, once you finish the initiation, then you do a rebirthing ceremony, which we can talk about more after. But you took 1-2 spoons, and 1-2 spoons they took is to hunt as well. They took is to stay awake for energy. So it really depends. There is a profane use of Iboga as well. But obviously in the spiritual one, the amount of spoon I took, I think 1 spoon plus 10, which is like, it's probably 50 grams. I don't know how to quantify. It's a lot. So your body has to get rid of it, because otherwise, you can have big consequences. But with this ceremony, basically, it's like having almost a medical kit, because you purge and you have this Ganga coming to you, looking at your purge, and you're like, what is he looking at? And he's checking whether he can see some elements of yourself inside the purge. And I've heard that if you can't purge, or if they feel that you are not ready to embrace the Bwiti, because that's what you are doing with the initiation, you embrace their culture as well, they can say no. So it's quite rare, but there has been people that have gone to Gabon, and maybe for some reason, they are struggling to purge, or just the plant was not for them, and they had to say no. So they're very careful of who take Iboga as well, because bearing in mind that Iboga is really hard on the heart. Before the initiation,
in the West, it's quite a concern when they bring in ibogaine into the clinical setting. It does require quite oversight, right? For heart mostly, the cardiovascular.
They asked to do the how is it in English, electrocardiogram and the liver test as well. They ask you to be very fit, because obviously the heart rate goes so low at some point that your heart needs to be going. I've done Muay Thai for many years, and I keep doing Muay Thai because that's obviously trained the heart really well. So you need to be very well. You need to be a warrior basically to do Iboga. That's my what I got from the ceremony itself. You really need to be a warrior ready to go to war in the darkness as well.
That would be my other question. Iboga is also known to be quite a emotionally challenging experience, or dark experience, if you wish. So what was how did it show up for you on emotional level? And what did it look like? What was the experience, and how did you navigate through? So
with the initiation then on the Saturday, you take this massive dose. It's very interesting because they basically place you on not a rug, but a wheat rug or something, which metaphorically talking is almost your Aladdin carpet, your magic carpet, whereas you go into the other side, really. I cannot share what I saw because those are my visions.
Personal,
And it's they say you don't have to share them because you miss the point. But I remember most of my visions where there was dark and light as well. But the first feeling when you come back from the initiation is you feel great. Like, I remember I'm like, I feel great, I love myself, that's the best feeling ever. And so I did this in August. September and October, I was feeling just amazing. And I was reading a book called the Iboga Experience, whereas they share people experiences Iboga. And I was reading that there was lots of darkness. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm very lucky I'm not seeing the darkness. And what Iboga does, so after the initiation, then you explain to the Ganga your vision. Based on your vision, they give you the combo, your Bwiti name. And then after a few days, you do this rebirthing ceremony, which has been the most unhinged thing I've ever done in my life. It's a 14-hour straight dancing, noise, this and that. And what happened is that they broke me. And the word itself of the initiation in Fang, I cannot remember the word, I think it's tosemi something, but it means to fall on the earth. So the main point of the initiation is to break you. And once you're broken, obviously, you see in front of you all the pieces. So you see the light, but you see the dark pieces as well.
You see everything.
You see everything. So for me, I remember when I came back, I would see lots of light, but then you integrate the light, which is the easier part to integrate, right? And then you start to integrate the darkness. And when I say darkness, obviously, we see darkness as very bad because, oh my God, I'm not good with myself, I'm a bad person. And I'm like, no, but it's human, it's the yin and yang. So it's very human to be good and be bad. And I think what Iboga allows you to do is to really face this darkness, stay into it. And when I say darkness, it's my darkness. It's my mom darkness, my grandma, my great-grandma. It's ancestral. Iboga, it's really... The first thing I went to Italy is I went to the cemetery to see again my grandparents, which I've never done before. So it brings you really close to your ancestral power, but ancestral darkness as well. And I feel that this is a piece that we are missing a lot in, maybe with the use of ibogaine as well, because what Iboga embrace as well is the whole Bwiti, the whole ancestral, the sounds, the people around it, the fire. There's
the ceremony,
the ceremonial aspect,
the power of the ceremony.
Exactly, the power of community as well.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure about how a setting would work for ibogaine, but I saw the documentary that just came out in War and Waves. So it's still, a little bit of a clinical setting. There was someone playing the maracas, yes, but it's far away from, what you can experience in Gabon. Which doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's still good that obviously, ibogaine is out there. It's just very different. And I wish we could be able to integrate a little bit more the ceremonial aspect because it's very important.
Such a powerful subject you're touching on, and it's not just in the Iboga tradition, ceremony, it's with other psychedelics as well, because for example ayahuasca is very ceremonial, right? Like Iboga is a very ceremonial, and now as we're bringing it into the clinical setting, there is one thing when we have ketamine, MDMA, they coming from the biological synthetic production side, so those already clinical setting elements, but when we bring in plant medicine from the ceremonial setting and tradition into the clinical, there is a lot that we can lose. Yet there is also a lot that we can gain, right? Because people maybe won't have an opportunity to go and have the experience that you have, right? So what is your perspective there? How can we support that ceremonial integration into the clinical setting?
I think that there's something to clarify.
Let me say yes, like I I want us to come from a place like not to judge it and separate it, but how can we support the integration? I want to make that like.
Of course. I think that we need to clarify that plant medicine are incredible medicines, but they are not just medicines. They are tools. They are guidance that can guide us to another dimension. In the case of Iboga, the ancestral dimension. I think that now that we are in the so-called psychedelic renaissance, lots of people are seeing this as, I can heal via psychedelics, which is very true, but they are so much more. Yes. And I feel that with the removing the ceremonial setting, we are removing this massive important part. I was reading about, in US, they are trying to remove the bad side from a psilocybin trip. If you remove the darkness, what do you have? You have a pill. So I don't have an answer of what's going to happen. I think that what we can do is that make sure that we try to have elements within the ceremony, like the music or elements from Gabon, or something that can maybe call the ancestor from Gabon, speak more with the Ganga in there. This Tatayo person, for instance, he's very well known because he's one of the only one talking in English. He has been in many documentaries, so speak with them, get them to interact with you as well, and get to know what they would like us to do with the medicine, because obviously it's not our medicine, it's their medicine. So I think we need to find a reciprocity that we are using their medicine without basically asking almost. We just take the medicine and extract one of the so many alkaloid and use it to healing. Bless the healing, of course. I know that, there's many benefits of addictions, but what's in for them as well. So just making sure that they get some recognition as well as some capacity. And with integration, I mean, that's the whole story, because most of the time we take a pill and we feel we are okay, which is what happened to one of the guys that was with me in Portugal. He did Iboga and he thought that he was healed. He's like, no, there's lots of integration that needs to take place. And I'm very lucky because I have a whole team around me.
Yes, you're in the wellness community.
Yeah, first of all, I had the wellness and psychedelic community. And obviously, when you are in Africa, it's not just you in a clinical setting. You have the whole village around you. You cry, you have your Bwiti mama. You cry, you have the kids. You have all the kids around. So you have all that sacred energy as well.
Yes. How long did you stay after the initiation? How long did you stay in the village?
I stayed 2 weeks and a half. So it was 1 week after the initiation and a couple of days more of the rebirthing. But that was not enough.
For the integration.
I wish I could have stayed more, yeah. And I came back in London. I went straight into work because I had some events. And for that reason, I didn't see the darkness immediately because I filled up myself with things. And now that I'm more quiet, the darkness is coming up and I can face it. So obviously, again, it's subjective, but I would really recommend everyone take plenty of time if you do this kind of experiences, because you just don't know what's going to bring up. And even I thought I was I'm overall a very healthy person. I don't have any particular traumas. Obviously, I have my things, but all the darkness, I really feel it's ancestral, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know where it's coming from. So just be ready that things are going to come up, and it's for the good. It's absolutely for the good.
Yes, I speak on integration, and I believe that, as you said, it's not, let's not put the timing on it, because sometimes people ask, how long the integration going to take? I don't know.
Life.
That's, yes. And then the life becomes an integration, right? So we have the experience, we have the insights, we shift the perception during the psychedelic ceremony, and yet then we're coming back into the real world, and that's where the magic actually happens. And when I say magic, I'm not talking about just the light side of the magic, but alchemy, right? The alchemy. Some things, some shifts can manage themselves in a ceremony, yes, but then there are a lot of extra shifts that is happening within our consciousness and perspective long time afterwards. And as you mentioning about your own experience, like it's been months until now you see more stuff is coming up, but you can feel intuitively that they are related to your Iboga experience.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
But I wouldn't have been able to face it as I'm facing it without my therapist, my coach, my Iboga guide. I'm talking as well with some of the guys that stayed in the village with me, because we were me, myself, and 3 guys doing the integration. But then there were other guys that just go in the village and, stay there and help. And I'm speaking with some of them as well that has done the initiation maybe 10 years ago. And they were like, Carlotta, darkness is normal. So just make sure that if you do this kind of experience with Iboga, but with anything, even psilocybin, you have people you can talk with. And this is something that we cover a lot with the Psychedelic Society, because lots of people go into this kind of alter states, because now it's trendy as well. Bearing in mind that now it's cool to do an ayahuasca ceremony, which is very terrifying, but let's face reality, it's cool now. So lots of people do this kind of experiences because they saw this TikTok or they saw this Instagram, then they come back and they are like, what has happened? So with the Psychedelic Society, we are building up community so that you have an experience, you share with someone, and I don't like the word heal, but you heal together and understand that this is not your singular experience as a singular human being. It's something that other people can go through. And that's the power of the village, really.
I actually strongly believe that we heal through connection.
Yeah.
We heal in a community. We can shift in a journey, but the healing actually takes place through that connection, through the conversation with the doctor or the coach. I remember after my ketamine sessions in Miami clinic, I would step out and have a conversation with the doctor, and then have conversations with the coach, and most importantly, as you're mentioning, the community. Because it's not just, let's schedule 3 coaching sessions for integration after your psychedelic experience, or let's join an integration circle, how many circles do I need? It's not that. It's not the number. It's the community and awareness that we build around ourselves. So when the stuff is going to come up, we don't know when it's going to come up that you need to integrate. We don't know when you're going to be triggered next time, because your next trigger will become your point of integration, right? But if you build a community, or you join a community and you build a support system around yourself, that's when you can benefit tremendously in those moments. So you have the trusted people to reach out. Just like you're referring to the village, you have to trust the people. You have to trust your support system. And in that support system, the healing takes place through human connection.
And that's why we are sick as a society, because in this modern society that we call ourselves modern and better, we have all these problems coming up: depression, PTSD, feeling lost, feeling lonely, everything that is happening. In Africa, in Gabon, they don't have these type of sicknesses. The only sickness that they have is that they smoke like chimneys, so obviously they have like bronchitis or those type of sicknesses. But they don't have
tobacco?
The type of...
You smoke tobacco?
Tobacco, yeah. And other things that, I don't know. But they don't have depression, they don't have addiction. Now, obviously, things are changing, because we have introduced, when I say we as like white people, we have introduced them to alcohol, unfortunately. So obviously they are starting to face this type of addiction themselves now. But otherwise, they don't have this type of problem. I was talking with one of the guys at the village, and he's like 45, 50. Now he's in this village in Libreville, but his village is deep in the forest. And he was telling me that there was this woman that was jealous about his husband. They can be polyamorously, so they can have multiple wives. And basically they created a whole ceremony around this lady to to deal with her being jealous. Just because all this kind of internal emotion or internal struggle, they can be healed with the village. So they just don't say, you are jealous, it's your fault. No, okay, let's bring this up to the village and let's heal this together. So obviously, I live in a 1-bedroom flat in London. I wake up, I barely know my neighbors, which is awful to say, but I don't even know who my neighbors are. Rather than in Gabon, I was waking up, I go down, go in the dinner table, there's everyone around. So I have a problem, you speak with someone. And that's the real power of healing, that I bet going to the clinical side, I'm not sure if they are planning to, build up, I hope they are planning to build up communities around this, but we are missing that point. It's you laying down in a bed in a maybe white bedroom with some music, and where's the ceremony? Where's the community,
I have a privilege, I will call it a privilege, to have both experiences. I've done ayahuasca journeys with Colombian shaman, and they call it celestial party because it's literally a party, and it's live music, as you're referring to, and it's absolutely special, and you are held by the community in this circle, in this sacred space, if you wish. And then I also have experience of working with ketamine, and not only professionally but personally as well. And I've done ketamine IVs and intramuscular in a clinical setting, in the white room, as you say.
The famous white room.
Yes, famous white room. And of course, the experiences are completely different. But I will say, if where my gratitude comes out is that for people who don't have a chance, and when I say chance, it could be different reasons why they cannot have the ceremonial experience. Yes, it could be financially, but it's not always. Sometimes people don't feel safe enough. Safety is a huge question in the psychedelic world, and clinical setting is something that gives safety to certain people. And if that's the case, I will say, please go with where you feel
100%.
safe. People won't feel safe traveling to the jungles, in my case, or what you've done, take real courage and bravery to go into a foreign country, into the this authentic initiation tradition. I've done yoga initiation in Himalayas, and of course you can't compare that to a yoga studio, experience in the West. But it does take that personal courage, and not everybody has it, especially when we're talking about a mental health population who have challenges, right? And what I say, if the white room is the only accessibility that they have to the medicine through that, then have that,
100%.
Then have that.
And that's magical that we can have that. We just need to be cautious on associating the two, because they are two completely different experiences. Because with one you heal as a medicine, with the other one you heal the soul as well. So it's a complete different one. But I'm 100% positive on all this healing happening, because we need to heal. We are I don't want to use a bad word, but we are a little bit of a fucked up society at the moment.
We live in a very intense
and
times.
That's needed. I think that the main thing is that we don't forget where these medicines are from.
100%.
And again, this is with psilocybin, with ayahuasca, with all the medicines. We just need to make sure that they are not our medicine. Yes. They are other people's medicine, and we tend to always suppress where the medicine is from. So we just need to remind that as well.
Yes, and also perhaps there are a way to make it more ritualistic, with building up a team of coaches and make it more ceremonial. That would be have your own version of blessing the medicine, and we did discuss it in ketamine clinics.
There are many people that can train in Gabon. I wouldn't recommend to do the initiation out of Gabon because you need the land.
Yes,
so that for me would be crazy to do an initiation out of Gabon. I'm not sure if there are people doing that, but it's completely silly in my personal humble opinion. But they do train Gangas that then can do retreats with more ritualistic elements. Obviously, the spoken language is Fang in the ceremony, so you need, when you start the ceremony, they say Bokaye, which is basically welcoming the men, and then Wanye, which is welcoming the women. So you need to understand a little bit of, I think it's Fang language, but you need to have some basis that can connect you to the medicine, and they can provide it. At my village, at Ebando, Aluba, the guy I did the ceremony with in Portugal, he trained at a bando. So certainly yes, but is it the same thing? Is it not? I'm not sure.
It's yes, it will never be the same thing.
Yeah, it's the $1 million
same
question. You don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, but absolutely, like, you know, no, as you said, not everyone has the courage, privilege, opportunity to go to do what I've done. And I am a little bit reckless, so you need to be a little bit reckless to do these kind of things.
Maybe that's what it takes.
Exactly, but for me it was a 100% call. Like, I never doubted it at all. And some people are coming to me like, oh my God, were you not afraid of dying? It's like, first of all, I have to die, you know, hopefully not in that context, but that for me was the least of my problem when I approached the experience itself. So clinical setting, go for it, but just, don't sell it as a Bwiti ceremony or as an Iboga ceremony, because you will miss that part at some capacity.
Yeah. So we also like the timing. So, but I would like to ask you, what would be your message to the audience, perhaps for someone who have questions or looking into do the Iboga initiation, or maybe they're looking into the ibogaine, or maybe there would be something completely different and personal. So what would you like to share?
So my Iboga guide, Luba, always told me life happens for you and not to you, which is something that now that I'm facing darkness, it's very beautiful to relate with, because we always see darkness as an adversity almost, darkness as bad. And I'm actually embracing the fact that, okay, this is happening for me to allow me to grow, to allow to discover myself, and to really see the other side, because we are human. So even though we tend to believe that everything is perfect, no, nothing is perfect. We are not perfect. So I think to approach every medicine with the idea that, yes, it's fantastic, it's going to be amazing, and it will change you, but dark things might come up, and just remember that that's all positive, that's part of you. And obviously now with social media in particular, we tend to compare ourselves to other people. No, I am bespoke, you are bespoke, we are all unique, and that's very beautiful. And Iboga will really show you who you are. So are you ready to see who you are? That's up to you, because it can be challenging.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been
Thank
fabulous
you,
to learn from you. One place where people can find you.
So my Instagram is Carlotta.Artuso, or at the Psychedelic Society, which is at Psychedelics UK on Instagram.
Sounds great. Thank you so
Rina.
much.
Thank you.